There was Ralph, and there was Jim. Both men were dying. Ralph hated Jim, and Jim was mildly amused by Ralph. Jim had earned the enmity of God, who had gazed down with anger upon his weeb-like degeneracy as it spilled over to the Sabbath, and punished him with literal cancer AIDS. It was your run-of-the-mill Greek tragedy playing out in some American flyover state. Jim would superglue pieces of gun buckets to his skin in an attempt to transform himself into a mecha cyborg who would be able to defend Tokyo from pterodactyl attacks. His greatest fear was that the wife he had grown from the DNA of Hitler and Emperor Hirohito would some day discover that Japan had surrendered at the end of World War II and would draw him into a protracted ground war with one of Joseph Biden's elite transsexual divisions. He had made a living selling Letterman jackets to Marty McFly, who would take them back with him to the 1980s in his DeLorean. Jim liked to refer to Marty as Shaky, but only one of them got the joke. Ralph had allowed himself to become so morbidly obese that when his grunt gargled, it sounded like the second Joy Division album. The continental overhang of his colossal belly was in the process of forming itself into a pair of drooping lobes that resembled the flaccid buttocks of a centenarian. Speculation was rampant within the medical community that he would eventually evolve an auxiliary asshole that was necessary to avoid the colossal amount of shit that he produced. Jim resided on Anime Avenue, a whimsical place where Asian schoolgirls entered werewolves into dog beauty pageants, in the hope that they would place second and win the planet Saturn. Ralph was a gentleman of the road. When he wasn't traveling, he resided in casinos and hospitals. He had been tricked by a transsexual witch into impregnating a paraphilic horse with his bonsai penis. Despite this rare slip-up, he regarded himself as a fighter, not a lover. A man who had once single-handedly beaten off a quartet of tattooed Portuguese sailors in a Lisbon alleyway. The only thing the two men had in common was their love of the Canadian rock band Nickelback. They were constantly quoting from the band's songs in their social media posts, arguing over which Nickelback album was the best. Whenever the band played the Hyperbowl in Jim's hometown, he would always pay for the best seats in the house. Ralph would usually be comped tickets to the Nickelback show by whatever Las Vegas casino had taken the lion's share of his money. aside from their devotion to Nickelback, which was all-encompassing, the two men had very little in common, and did not get along well.